I got two of the all-new Tomtoc Navigator T66 lightweight travel backpacks. So we're gonna do a review. In this video, I'm gonna take my experience of reviewing 500 plus of the world's best travel bags, and we're gonna tear these things apart. We're gonna pack it out, I'm gonna give you my honest pros and cons. We're gonna compare it to the original T66, which I have as well. And if you're not quite sold that these are the travel bags that you want, you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because that's where I'll make some alternative recommendations for travel bags that are similar to these, but a little bit different, so you can find the best bag for your needs. Let's talk about the gist of the Tomtoc Navigator T66 lightweight travel backpacks. Tomtoc is becoming kind of a big deal in this weird little niche of carry nerds like myself, as to where they came in guns blazing, making these really high quality backpacks, but bringing them in at like a really affordable price point, a shockingly affordable price point, especially for the materials and the build quality. We were blown away by the T66, especially at the 100 USD price point. So when they told us they had the new lightweight versions, I was like, I gotta get my hands on those. So let me run you through some of the top features. We got Tomtoc's signature front panel that also gives you a quick access compartment. 1, 2, 3, 4 compression straps, these two of which can unclip, which then gives you access to the suitcase style opening to the main compartment. Toilet paper does not come included with the T66. Minimalist main compartment, clamshell opening to the tech sleeve, and a little sneaky, cheeky back access to the main compartment as well. And a really comfortable harness system. But are you as comfortable as the original T66? Well, let's go ahead and do a little comparison right now, because if you're familiar with the original, there's not a ton of differences. The biggest differences being the size change, as to where there's two for the lightweight. We've got a 28 liter in gray and the 40 liter here, which we'll bring out in just a second. It also comes in other color options, as to where the original just came in black, I believe, but now we have black, gray, and the green, which I quite like the green, I think it looks nice. But the biggest difference is really just gonna be the materials used. As you can see, the original version used a very thick ballistic nylon, and again, a very thick like PVC or tarpaulin material here. And this is gonna be like a really important thing, because the lightweight, as the name suggests, just uses a much lighter weight ripstop nylon. And that's gonna be a really important differentiator as to where you gotta decide like which style you prefer. The original is gonna come in at a bit heavier of a weight, and it's just gonna feel chunkier. But that kind of feels like manly and awesome too, you know? Versus the lightweight, it actually is lighter by like 11%, but it just feels lighter. It's got a malleability to it. It just doesn't feel as like constrictive as a bag with thicker materials like this does. For me, I'm on team light all day, not just for this bag, but really any bag, especially when it comes to travel bags. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Like, do you prefer thicker fabrics and a bit more durable of a build, or lighter and thinner? Let me know your preference in the comments below. As I said, the bag currently comes in 3 color options, gray, green, and black. And we got 2 sizes, 40 liters and 28 liters. For me, 28 liters is great for that weekend trip, if you're one bag in. Or if you need like a decent sized backpack to go with your suitcase, this should still fit underneath the seat for a lot of airlines. Not all, it depends, you know, every airline has different height restrictions and depth restrictions and weight restrictions, but if you're like in the US especially, you're gonna get away with a lot of flights for sure on this bad boy. This one is if you are doing one bagging, but you need like a week plus worth of stuff, or again, you're pairing it with a suitcase, but you just want more stuff. And this is not gonna fit underneath the seat in front of you. At least like I wouldn't depend on it fitting there. This is definitely more carry-on side. But in our experience, Tomtoc has sometimes in the past overstated their capacity. So let's find out if this is really a 28 liter and a 40 liter backpack. All right, for the 28 liter, 5, 10, 15, 20, just under 25 liters. I will say I didn't pack it out to the ultimate brim, so I think it's a tight 28 liters, give or take, because I didn't pack out also water bottle holders or tech compartments, so 28 sounds about right. And for the 40 liter, we're at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, just under 35. So the 40 liter feels a little bit tighter. I'd say the 40 liters coming in between 35 to 38 liters. 28 liters, 25 to 28 liters. So we're not like too far off, but I think a little bit tighter than advertised. Now let's talk about the dimensions. You can see the size difference, the 28 and the 40 liter. 28's got a height of 18 inches, got a width of 13 inches. 40 liters got a height of 21 inches. Back panel width of just under 14 inches. And we're gonna try and remember to measure the depth of both the bags when they're fully packed out. We can do it. Now, as the name suggests, we did end up with lighter. The 28 liter clocks in at 2.3 pounds. And the 40 liter is coming in at 2.7 pounds. Hold on, let me double check that. Whew. 2.6 this time? That is a phenomenal weight for a 40 liter backpack. Granted, a little bit smaller than 40 liters, but still. Very, very light, but will it be comfortable? We'll talk about that in a couple chapters. Don't worry, I'll feed you little birdies. This is the 28 liter when it's empty, and this is the bag when it's fully packed out and worn on the Nomads Nation team. I'm 5'8", and our media manager, Margaret, is 5'2". And this is the 40 liter when it's empty, and here it is fully packed out and worn by us again. And don't worry, we're gonna pack out both bags throughout this entire review so you can see exactly what they fit, especially in comparison to one another. Tomtoc bags do not have the best warranty. They're only 2 years, and you have to make sure that you register for that warranty on the website. And for the price, I actually don't know, because we're shooting this about a week before Tomtoc launches these bags. They did not tell us how much they're gonna cost. But having reviewed a bunch of Tomtoc gear and knowing the T66 at the back of my hand, that's 100 USD, so I think these will be coming in right around that mark, maybe even slightly cheaper. Because what Tomtoc does best is value. And if at any point during this review, you're thinking to yourself, holy crap, they're light, they're stylish, they're affordable, I'm totally getting one, and you're gonna make a purchase, we do suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price, and we oftentimes have discount codes, especially for Tomtoc. But that link also helps to support the Nomads Nation YouTube channel and team so we can keep making the best bag reviews on the web. Thank you very much. All right, let's talk about the front of the Tomtoc Navigator Liteway T66. I'm gonna use the 28 liter for most of the review, but we'll bring the 40 back out when we want to compare and contrast what the main compartments can hold. Now, the first thing I talk about with the front of any bag is its aesthetic, and I gotta say, I have always been a fan of the aesthetic of the T66. Not of all Tomtoc bags, but there's something about like this front panel with this area here and the compression straps that kind of gives it a bit of a mean look. But I will say, I think that the original looks a little meaner with the fabric selection, right? And especially with this different PVC fabric. So not quite as, masculine, tactical, not tactical, but you know what I'm saying, right? It looks badass. A little bit less so for the Liteway, but still, it's got a really nice look to it that to me just says Tomtoc right away. Speaking of which, logo, Tomtoc's branding. They got this cute little T. This little guy. He's a new addition to the family, and I much prefer him to Tomtoc's louder branding that they had before. Also, let's talk about this primary fabric. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's definitely some sort of ripstop nylon. Probably around like a 300 to 400 denier. Ripstop nylon is a brilliant fabric for backpacks because it's very, very light. It's very, very malleable, which really means that you can fit more stuff in the bag. It's crazy how just a little bit of like width goes a long way in terms of what you can pack. But also it's very durable, very abrasion resistant, and easy to clean. You just put a wet wipe on this bad boy and then any dirt stains, it just comes right off. It's a great fabric, but it's not gonna be as abrasion resistant as like a 1680D ballistic nylon. So if you're really throwing your bag around a lot, and like you're just living a bit more of a rambunctious lifestyle, then maybe the T66 regular is a bit better for you. But I think for 95% of people, a ripstop nylon like this is more than enough. First pocket is this quick access pocket here. Also, I believe Tomtoc uses YKK zippers. They do. And this is why I love Tomtoc. I just can't believe the value that is packed into their bags. Granted, they're a Chinese company, so I'm sure they own a factory. They don't have to pay quite as like high cost as like, some Western companies do, but hey, it's a global market, baby. To each their own. Like this is value that they can offer. And YKK zippers, Duraflex hardware, like I know some brands that are 2 or 3 times as expensive as Tomtoc, and they're not doing any of that. Tomtoc is given just value over value with their bags, and I love them for that. All right, so let's talk about this quick access pocket. Like I said, YKK zipper to get in. And then there's no additional organization in there. And you got a seam here. So you basically got this square of space to store your gear. On the 40 liter version, it's the same. Let's go ahead and just measure this real fast so you know the difference. So the height of the 40 liter version of this pocket is around 13 inches and a width of 8 inches versus, we'll call it 10.5, 8 inches. Now in the 40-liter version, you can fit your very large over-the-ear headphones in that pocket. You're gonna have a bit more trouble doing it with the 28-liter version. Tight squeeze in there. Okay, I can actually make it work, but it's tighter in there. So for me, I'm gonna use it for smaller things that I want quicker access to, wallet, snack, AirPods. And a pocket like this is great for things that you want quick access to, because it is in fact a quick access pocket. You can go ahead and swing around, unzip, and grab what you need when you're at the airport super fast. I think that's it for the front. We got a lot more to unpack with this bag and its larger cousin in the next section. Let's talk about the middle of the Tomtoc Navigator Liteway T66. These compression straps, you're either gonna love them or hate them. For me, I like them aesthetically a bit, but I'm not a big compression strap guy. But compression straps have a lot of functional value as to where, let's say you're flying in Europe and you're at like Ryanair and they're like, no, the bag must fit these dimensions. And it's like, okay, it doesn't. That's what these are for. You cinch the bag down and you can decrease its depth, therefore hopefully allowing you to get it in more stringent. I think there was like a German accent. I don't know what accent I just did there, but like in case you're in that country, that's how you get this bag in their carrier bin, right? But it's also nice when you get to the destination and you can cinch the bag down, making it a really nice day pack, right? 28 liters, kind of a big day pack when you get to your destination. This though, smaller profile, therefore kind of giving you 2 bags in one. But compression straps can be annoying as well, as they can inhibit access to the main compartment. As you see right here, these zippers are getting snagged on these guys right here, and you gotta unbuckle. And it's like, yeah, you can get in via the back, but like, just something to be aware of. This bag is not the most feature heavy, but there's some things that are gonna be interfering with other things, and that can be agitating sometimes. Now, we've also got these side pockets here. Great for water bottles. We're gonna test these out when the bag is actually packed out in a second. Top handle is great. It's not the highest quality, like whatever padding is in there, it feels okay. You know, it's nice, but it just gets the job done. It's functional, plenty of space to grab the handle. We've got reinforced stitching right here. Again, these are things that you don't always see on more affordable brands. Great materials, reinforced stitching. Tomtoc just goes the extra step, and I love them. But I don't love everything about this bag. There's some things that really annoy me. Like getting into this main compartment, I talked about the compression straps and how they can interfere, but also like, I just like a good old fashioned clamshell style opener. I don't need like this weird kind of like front flap thing. This is definitely not my favorite opening for a travel bag. Just give me like a good old fashioned single compartment, opens up all the way. I don't need all these bells and whistles for my travel bag personally. But like, let me know your thoughts. Is this opening also annoying to you? Do you prefer it? Let me know like your thoughts on your ideal opening to the main compartment for a travel bag in the comments below. In the main compartment, there's no additional organization, but via the back, you do have access to the tech compartment. We'll talk about that in the next section. But you also have this guy right here, which is like a hard shell plastic panel. And I'll be honest, I've never 100% understood it. I think it's for when you want to give the bag some structure. You can go ahead and kind of pop that under and you'd be like, oh, well, that's to help itself stand. It's not. And then comparing it to the 40 liter, you can see how much extra space we've got going on here. But again, there's no additional organization, no pockets inside here, which I'm a big fan of. I don't need slots to throw things. Just give me a big old canyon to throw my stuff in. All right, let's pack out the 28 liter first, and then I'll show you how much more capacity the 40 liter has in comparison. All right, you can see right here, I got a bunch of travel stuff that I'd be using for like a couple day trip. Main clothes going in the big packing cube. And you can see one thing that's just kind of annoying about this is as to where like, I don't know, just it's inhibited access. Just it's not full clamshell. That's just what I like. You can go ahead and put the smaller packing cube here. This has got like your week's worth of clothes. This has got your underwear and socks. And then we do a tech pouch and a dop kit. And this is how most people are traveling these days, guys. Bathroom stuff, tech stuff, clothes at the bottom. And like that is a literal perfect fit. Now, I've gone ahead and implemented that bottom sleeve, that plastic sleeve, like I said, and it's not really helping with the standing because it would stand regardless because the structure of the packing cube is what's helping it stand, not really that. Really with most travel bags, as long as there's a packing cube on the bottom, you'll get some self-standing out of it. Now, before we test that out in the 40 liter, let's test out the water bottle holder. As a 1 liter Yeti does fit, and here's one final awesome thing about compression straps, is they allow you to secure your water bottle, right? You can just clip it in like this, or you can actually weave it through the lid. These compression straps are very, very functional. There's a lot of different things you can do with them. But let's say you pack a bit more stuff. The 40 liter, in contrast, can handle that same packing cube with the smaller one, with the DOP kit, with the tech pouch. It's kind of giving you a slot for another thing here, which for me, I'll go ahead and throw back a pair of shoes, and you can even sneak a few more things in there. Go ahead and throw a lightweight hoodie, Nintendo Switch case. I don't Switch. I don't know if you gamers would put your Switch in a travel bag like that, but why not? It works. So you can kind of see more or less you're getting like 20 to 25%, I'd say, extra space with the 40 liter version. And now we're gonna switch to the 40. And we remembered, let's do the depth test. You can see the 40 liter, we're coming in at a depth of just under 10 inches, fully packed out. And then for the depth of the 28 liter, ooh, much less deep. We're coming in at like 8.5 inches. Two more quick notes about the middle. While the majority of the bag is covered in this lightweight ripstop, we do have a very hefty ballistic nylon at the bottom, which is a great touch by Tomtoc because like I said, this ripstop is durable, but it can tear if you throw it around enough. So Tomtoc said, let's just give you some extra protection. And we're gonna throw the heftier denier nylon on the bottom, just giving you extra abrasion resistance. And the last thing, notice at the top right here, we have a quick access pocket, which is ideal for your sunglasses, wallet, passport. And what I actually really love about the design of this is it doesn't go down into the bag. It actually just goes horizontal on the bag. So that's the space that you're least likely to take up, and it keeps whatever's there like safe, because if you're gonna put your glasses there, they're fragile. This is just a really well-designed pocket. So props to Tomtoc for that. And I gotta tell you, if you're really enjoying this ultra nerdy breakdown of travel gear, a bit of travel theory and everything in between, then you might be smitten to find out that here at Nomads Nation, we don't just do travel gear reviews and EDC gear reviews, but we also have the Nomads Nation newsletter. And in that, we take this whole deep dive, like even deeper. So if you wanna keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the world of travel gear at EDC and know when the newest drops are, limited edition collabs, a bit of industry gossip, the trends that are coming up and down, and access to our discount codes and giveaways, which you can do by finding this globe emoji in the description below. Hope to see you in your inbox. Okay, let's talk about the back of the Tomtoc Navigator T66 Liteway. Starting with the clamshell tech compartment. Now, clamshell tech compartments used to be like because it was advertised like, hey, you can just go through TSA and you won't have to take your laptop out. You just do this. Like, don't worry, man, just like run it through. But they don't do that anymore. Like they're just like, oh, that's cool, it opens up, it's really cute. Take your laptop out now. So there's no real benefit to this anymore, minus just having that bird's eye view and quick access. Like just having everything open like this can be nice. On the tech compartment, we have the pull tab, which gives you quick access to the main compartment, which can be nifty. We have a mesh pocket here and the tech sleeve, which let's talk about it. I got a big old 17-inch Asus VivoBook. This thing's a monster and I think we're gonna fit in here no problemo. Wow. So if you got a large, like donkey-sized laptop, 17-incher, you'd be smitten to find out that this 28-liter version of the Liteway T66 can handle it. Also, if you're looking for more bags that can handle a 17-inch laptop, we'll link that above as well. And then look, like even the smaller one, the 17-incher can fit. So if you're wondering, can this tablet fit between all the various sizes? Yes, the answer to that question is yes, it can fit. And this just saved me so much time because now I don't need to show you what the 40-liter can fit because it can definitely fit a 17-inch as well. And Tomtoc's catchphrase is protect your digital gear, which should lead you to believe that they have some pretty good tech protection. And they do. Hear that? You don't hear the laptop like slamming on the table. And that's because we got a pretty decent false bottom here, about 1 inch high, which elevates the laptop, therefore protecting it when it's getting thrown around the airport, airplanes, especially if you gotta check it, right? You accidentally gotta check your bag, you can't take your laptop out. Those guys, they are not gonna treat your bag with respect. So the fact that your tech is extra protected is a great selling point. You've got a bit of padding here, all the padding on the back. It's definitely a tank for your laptop. Now, I'm not as crazy about a compartment like this. 2 reasons. One, the mesh is really cheap. It just feels like sharp and just, it's one, I just don't like the implementation of this. But also because like if you have something thick and bulky in here, think like a charger, an adapter, it's constantly pressing against the laptop. And although this has got some decent padding here, it's still just like they're fighting with each other. So I'm not gonna pack it out, which is why I think that like just the clamshell style opening is a little extra. I don't need it. I'm not gonna be using something like this. I don't know how often I'm getting into the main compartment from here. I think they could have cut cut some zippers, cut some complications, just put a little quarter opening right there to grab your laptop. But I don't know, what do you think? Do you like having the extra opening just in case? Let me know what you think about the bag's tech compartment in the comments. Now, one thing I was a little disappointed on with this guy was its comfort. I thought the original T66 is a bit more comfortable, but keep in mind, I like chunkier shoulder straps and back panel. I like a ton of padding. Just an absolute crap ton of it. I think the 4-liter is actually like pretty nice, but like the original T66 for me is just gonna slightly edge out the new Litways in terms of comfort. But you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the suitcase pass-through holder, which unfortunately as well, another negative about this bag, it forces you to carry the T66 on its side. It's like doing like one of those, you know? And this is fine, it gets the job done, but it's not as great for me as a bag that is standing upright on your suitcase. But on the good side, this is a beautifully executed luggage pass-through holder, as to where it's got a nice little amount of looseness to slide the handle on. Plenty of reinforced stitching on the top and the bottom, so it's not gonna pop out anytime soon. Notice right here, we got a little loop, and these things are lifesavers. I just went to China, and I live in China, I live in Hong Kong, but like the mainland is just a little bit different. And like I had to use a restroom in the train station, and it was not nice. And the bag I had, thankfully, it wasn't a Tomtoc, but it thankfully had a little loop like this. So that's what these loops are for, right? It's like when you're in weird bathrooms, which exist all over the world. I've been to some bad bathrooms in the States, in England, in China. When you're in those, you just have hopefully a little hook that you can clip it onto. These things are lifesavers when you're in the wrong bathroom. Now, one thing that's gonna help when you're in, bag luggage mode is this handle right here, which I think is great for what it is. Again, plenty of space to grab. It's got a lot of movement. Seems like it's pretty well enforced with its stitching. So this handle slaps by itself, but it's the only side handle on this bag, and some people, for travel bags, they like big old beefy side handles on the actual side. So I think this gets the job done for me, but I know for some others, they might wish that there was more handles. Tomtoc provided us with these guys, dangle stoppers at the bottom of the shoulder straps and on the sternum strap, making no dangle Dan a happy man. You can protest elsewhere, little guy, we're good to go here. And then for the comfort test, guys, like it's a really comfortable travel bag. For both the 28-liter and the 40-liter, I give it like a 4.5 out of 5. Let's call it like a 4.25. I think the Navigator original, just a little bit chunkier, so I prefer that a bit more, but God, I'm wearing this now, like, it just feels nice. For my style, I like more padding. We got some decent ventilation in the back panel. 4.25 out of 5, final answer. But also keep in mind that everybody's comfort preferences are different, and everybody has different body types. So if you wanna know what other people think about the comfort of this bag, other people who own it and use it, be sure to check the comments below, or ask your question there, or ask your question, better yet, ask your question in the Nomadization subreddit. We got one of the biggest communities of bag nerds in the world there, and hopefully somebody can help you out. Okay, let's talk about the overall pros and the cons of the Tomtoc Navigator T66 Liteway. Pro number 1 is going to be the really nice comfort. Pro number 2 is going to be the updated lightweight build. And pro number 3 for Tomtoc, value. Their value proposition for most of their products, especially the T66 and this new Liteway, it's hard to beat. But no bag is perfect. I got cons that we gotta talk about as well. Con number 1, these compression straps are going to annoy some of you guys as to where it inhibits access to the main compartment. Con number 2, while it's very comfortable, I still found the original T66 to be slightly more comfortable. And con number 3 is this bag might not give you enough quick access. But just a reminder, if you are totally digging this bag, the pros outweigh the cons, you're thinking about picking one up, we highly suggest doing so with the first link in the description below. Reason being, that link makes sure that you get the best price. And if we have any discount codes, which we often do for Tomtoc, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, let's talk about the alternatives that I teased earlier in the video. First up, if you're new to the Nomadization channel, I highly suggest watching our leaderboard video. This is where myself and the whole Nomadization team, we get together and we pick our favorite bags in different and distinct bag categories. I've gone ahead and linked that above. But if we're pretty close with the Liteway, here's 2 alternatives that might just be a bit more up your alley. First of which is gonna be the Tomtoc Navigator T66, the original. It's a bit of a cop-out, it's an easy alternative. It's a great pick for you if you like something that's a bit more robust and also has a bit more chunk when it comes to those shoulder straps. And alternative recommendation number 2 is gonna be the BagSmart Blast. This has become our media manager, Margaret's new favorite travel bag. You just took it to China for a couple of days, Margaret? Loved it. And it's interesting because it does borrow some design language from the T66, but there's less interference with the buckles and the main compartment, and it gives you multiple more quick access points as well. I don't know which of these 3 bags is my favorite. They all got their own pros and cons. Everyone's got different needs. But to find out if these 2 alternatives are better for your needs, you can just go ahead and watch these videos right here. If you got any questions about any bags, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Aaron, this is Nomads Nation, and we'll catch you next time.